this does look really nice, dude. Like I said, the board does lean very minimal. The board is the Numa. It didn't quite go to a public group buy or anything when it did release. To my knowledge, this was only, so the Mark 1, so this was done as a private group buy. I have no idea the amount that was done for the private group buy. But it was always a board I was genuinely interested in. And I think originally this was supposed to have a bunch of different vendors, but ultimately, to my knowledge, this did not go public. Like, it did not become a public group buy because I believe this was at the height or the beginning of COVID. So it just didn't exist for the public anyways. And now this was back in like what, 2020, maybe 2021. A few years have passed and now we have the Numa. Now the Numa is a very pretty keyboard. I've always been interested in it. Like I said, it was one of the boards that I thought was gorgeous. And I'm happy to see it kind of get some new life. So this is the Mark II. Now the Mark II, again, I don't really have a Mark I for reference, but the Mark II is still a gorgeous looking keyboard. You're gonna hear the plate rattling around. I'll fix that once we take it out. It's a gorgeous looking keyboard. I know, dude, this hunter green too. Let's zoom in a little bit. This kind of hunter green, they got a bunch of colors they're doing too on Antipode. And by the way, this is gonna be a sponsored stream, but obviously you guys know it does not affect my opinion at all. We've done other streams for Antipode. You know, I've been very truthful and forthright about my opinions. So we have Aegis, which is this color, or Aegis, is that how you pronounce it? Elysium. Elysium is the one that they actually wanted me to take a look at, which is the polycarbonate version. But unfortunately, the polycarb version wasn't ready. And then they're also gonna have the Stoic, which is like a blue, Spartan, which is red. And then they also have Midnight, which is gonna be more of like a purple. Kind of hard to describe the purple just from the renders, but I'm assuming it's going to be kind of like a nice, like vibrant purple or a deeper purple. But absolutely gorgeous looking keyboard. Again, I wish I had an original one so I can show you guys the differences. There's the little butt of the keyboard here. Cool little badge here on the bottom to catch some light. It's also using Geon compatible feet, which I thought was a big selling point on this guy here too. Let's see, does this come out? Geon compatible feet. I think the only oddity I would say is they're using Geon compatible feet, but then opted to go screws on the top over here, which is not a huge deal. Again, my preferences on hidden screw design is less ideal, but still awesome that they're using removable feet. I adore the fact that they're using that. So yeah, I'll show you guys all the whole keyboard here. And just you can see there's a copper inset weight on here in the middle too. So it's a gorgeous looking keyboard. Now this is just gonna be your basic wedge design. There's not a lot to the side profile. It's gonna have my thumbprints and stuff. I already handled the board. This board was already handled as well. But it's your basic kind of, you know, side profile here. It does have some nice machining around the edges. The back, little recessed USB-C port. Thumbprints make it better, yeah. But overall, a very simple yet pretty keyboard. Yeah, I think this is one of the few boards where I think the seamless and no screws really works for it because of how basic everything is. Yeah, exactly, it's very simple, even down to the badge, which I appreciate no branding on this. It's very, very simple, and I do agree, and this is one of the rare cases where I think no screws actually works on this board. I will say again about Antipode, they have really good anno with whatever manufacturer they're using. The quality of all the Antipode stuff has been fantastic, and it's why I decided to partner up with them doing some sponsored content. I've always been very happy with the Antipode stuff, and the customer service is good too. Oh, by the way, price point's gonna be $399, so this is not gonna be like a cheap board. However, there is gonna be 100 units of the Numa that are basically pre-orders because they've already I guess, started manufacturing with them. But I believe the only colors available for pre-orders, so the stuff that's already been started manufacturing, is going to be purple and green. That's the only ones. Also, there's going to be different tops too, which I think is really important. So it's going to have your HHKB, Win keyless, and Win key, which is good. All colors for pre-order, but green and purple is available for pre-orders. Oh, wait, sorry. All colors available for pre-order, but green and purple is available for pre-order only. I'm confused by that Antipode. Oh, they won't be in stock. Oh, that's what you meant by that. Okay, yeah, sorry, I didn't really understand what that meant then. Okay, that makes more sense then. So that these won't be available afterwards. Okay, that makes more sense. PC, red, and blue will be available in stock. Okay. And then we have our Martin PCB. We love these. Still don't love Molex. I think that's my only gripe with this entire project, by the way. But we do love a good Martin PCB. Oh look, they even have, I love when people do this with PCBs, by the way. Numa, a noun, okay, I can't read it like that. A noun used by the Greeks to describe spirit or soul, also used by Stoics to describe the creative force within humans. Now today, we're gonna be using deeping switches. Deeping, not sure how, deeping switches, and then night stabs. Let's go, I was curious about the switches and stabs. Yeah, this is, so actually, they sent over films to go with these, but Antipode, I couldn't get the films in because these have these little, so I lubed their switches for them. They sent over some dry ones, but I couldn't get them in because of these little, I really don't even know what to call these still. I guess they're like a force break or some sort of pre-film. Yeah. I tried anyways, just because I know you sent some over, so I was just like, let me give it a go, because I haven't even tried, but you can't really add them there. The screw-in stabs interfere with the O-ring? That is a great question. I'm not sure. And I guess maybe that's what we're gonna find out. I don't know if they will on this particular PCB. Actually, you know what? Antipode, if you're there, can you actually confirm that with the designer? Do you know if clip-ins should be used or should we use the screw-ins? If not, I can quickly grab, I have tons of clip-ins we can use. Screw-ins work fine. That's good to know too. Okay, we'll use screw-ins. I do appreciate that this is only, it seems to be like 4 screws. So this is not too bad actually. Magnetic screws too? All right. It's weird. There's only been like a handful of keyboards recently that we've had that, oh, alignment. Sorry, got a little excited about this. Alignment pins here. Okay, so that's cool. So we have a way to kind of align everything. And then if you were just desolder one switch technically, you could have access to your spacebar, which is good to see too. So theoretically, if you didn't want to take apart the whole PCB to get access to your spacebar, you could just desolder this. You might have to finagle this out a little bit and then take it out. I like the design of this plate. Very, very nice. I can actually see where the O-rings are supposed to go as well. And then on the internals too, it looks like the cable is routed underneath the weight. This weight again will not be copper on this green version. It'll be a matte black PVD brass. Yeah, and then the channels here are where the O-rings would go. So I have to cut this up, I assume, Antipode, just like the other board. I like that though. I love this mounting style. Love it. Very, very cool. So we have O-rings everywhere. And then theoretically, although I don't know, I'm gonna try it out with the O-ring here underneath the spacebar first, but we could theoretically not add this O-ring. This could be theoretically optional. It's basically F1 mounting, yeah. Very F1 vibes. There's been a few boards that have done this though. There's been a whole bunch. I think actually my favorite iteration of this kind of mount is, was it the Hex 3C? Where it kind of uses the little O-rings and then you kind of wrap it around things. I love that one there. The Hex was such an underrated board too. That they can do what they want and play around with it. Yeah, exactly. Which is a really good point to have too. You have flexibility on how you want to put these gaskets, which is cool. And nothing's adhesive, which is another big point here as well. I don't know why. The more I'm, looking into keyboards more recently, I don't know why. The adhesive stuff's really turning me off. I like stuff that's designed around just press fit. Again, if you need something to be adhesive, I get that as well, but I've had issues with adhesive stuff where maybe you want to play around with it and then you're fixed with one, it's not really tinkering friendly, let's just say. If I go back and go, you know what, like maybe this board doesn't sound good with the bottom gasket, then you kind of peel it off and then you're like, well, you know what, maybe let me try it again. You kind of screw yourself over because now you have nothing. I appreciate the permanent nature of it, like you've built it, you've made your decision, but on the other hand, have made your decision and you end up not liking it, well then you're kind of screwed. Will I have enough for this? Yeah, I think I should. Oh God, would be typical that I sent too little gasket. I might have some extra O-ring somewhere, but let's just try this first. Try to measure out everything and then we'll go from there. I have like 300 meters of this. No, it's okay. Maybe we can get it. Okay, I might have to go find some extra cord here. I think I have it somewhere. I might have something left over from like a Virgo build that I did. Shoestring mount. Well, it's like an O-ring, so kind of picture this as like a O-ring F1 8X kind of style. Was there a mention on the hardness of the O-ring? Actually, that'd be a great thing to
ask full right now about what's the hardness of this. I'm gonna cut these. These seem to be the same width. So I'm just gonna cut some of these guys and we'll kind of lay them in there, although they might be a little difficult to put in. Yeah, these are 3 mil. Same width, it looks like. And we'll lay these guys here and here, but cut them down. Might be a bit hard since they're kind of curved, so gonna have to do my best here, guys. Remove the spacebar gasket if that helps with sound. We might still have to do that. Just like I said, if you guys don't mind just being a little bit patient with me for this, because we're not using the right gaskets. Also, just in case anyone's wondering, I'm playing this back and skips to this part. This will not be that difficult on the final rendition of this board. This should actually be very simple. It's just we're using gaskets that didn't actually come with this. Alright, wasn't too bad. We're all slotted in. Oh, also another feature too. These don't seem to get interrupted by the switches, which is good. I think the only build experience thing I would say, truthfully, is, God, I'm sweating. I think the gaskets, or I guess the part where the gaskets fit in, if it was a hair thinner, right? Or if the cord was like 3.3 millimeters, for example, it would actually press fit into the top and very, very nicely, where it'd almost feel like nothing at all. Ooh, this is gonna probably sound really nice though. So maybe that's the only piece of actual criticism I have for this. I still would prefer a regular JST connector over the Molex for longevity's sake. However, I built 3 Numas, 2 different types of gaskets, and they did hang in there. I'll take Antipode's word for it. But I think just, again, from my findings, maybe just from a really ease of use standpoint. Other than that, the build's pretty easy. 4 screws, which I actually appreciate. Love the press and feet. The aesthetic of this is very pretty and beautiful. Yeah, I don't think the greens need to be identical in this particular case. No, I think no accents on this is the way, dude. This looks good with the cork too. Hold on, let me move some stuff out of the way. Ooh, this does look really nice, dude. Like I said, the board does lean very minimal. Like even if you were to flip this over, there's not a lot going on with the board. The only thing I would like to see on this board, I do agree, this is one of the rare cases where I think no screws makes this board amazing. This is one of the few boards which I appreciate the seamlessness of it. But I think what I would have done, and I don't know if it's possible for this, but I'm just speaking out loud. So this is not really criticism, but this is more just like a ease of use, which I guess maybe is some sort of criticism. Instead of having 4 screws here, which is not a big deal, it's better than having like 8. What I would have done is probably hid the screws underneath these Geon capable compatible feet. Let me take one off to show you guys. Probably would have put the screws underneath here and hid them underneath here. That way there, when you do go to disassemble the board, you don't have to take off your keycaps in case you forget where the screws are. But that's about it. Like, I think that's really like the only other point of criticism I have for this. It's a very simple looking board with fun internals. Let's see how this sounds. We're using Gateron deeping switches, which I put 205 on, aluminum plate, and night stabs. Pretty loud sound profile from the alphas already. Spacebar I'm not the biggest fan of, but I think I know why. I think I'm going to remove the gasket underneath the spacebar. So I removed the gasket on the bottom and on the top frame where the spacebar sits. Look how big of a difference this is already. Like, that sounds so good now. That is a very nice spacebar now that we removed the cord. Wow, the deeping switch sounds really good. The alphas sound really good too. No, I don't think the deepings are very similar to Nixie's at all. Overall, really good. The funny thing is, when I had the O-ring on the bottom and on the top, you could actually, like, and I was hearing a rattle, but it wasn't a rattle maybe, it was just a vibration. I think the O-ring just puts too much pressure and kind of squishes. And it could also be the fact I'm not using a proper O-ring for this. It just felt too squished and too like compressed. But that's actually one of my gripes with keyboards is I don't like having any gasketing or any sort of mounting point underneath the spacebar. That's how you get these spacebars to sound really loud and poppy. But again, you can experiment. Hell, you can probably even just really put 1, 2, 3, and 4 for gaskets. You don't have to put maybe the ones on the top over here. So adios amigo. Bye everybody. See you guys. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. See ya. Wow, the deeping